It may shock many Americans to know that 100 years ago, the use of drugs like marijuana, cocaine, and morphine were not only permissible, but mainstream. According to the History Channel documentary, Hooked, Illegal Drugs and How They Got That Way, in the last century they have been condemned as the scourge of man. A century later, while regulated heavily, morphine and cocaine are considered medically useful and still widely utilized. However, marijuana has been condemned as a counterculture street drug with no medicinal value under the government schedule rating system. As the public becomes more aware of the truth of marijuana in the modern climate, and budget concerns continue to seek any source of tax revenue, there is no longer a question as to whether or not marijuana should be decriminalized, but rather how to best regulate it into American culture and how to best make the case to the naysayers. To better understand why marijuana should be legalized, we must first know about the history of the drug and how criminalization began. According to attorney Bruce Allen Block, who specializes in marijuana criminal law, marijuana has been around since the dawn of recorded history. The first known use of cannabis dates to 7000 BC. Marijuana was used as a medicinal herb by the ancient Chinese, Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans for stomach ailments, cramps, and pain. Marijuana, like opium and heroin, came from Asia. How it found its way to North America is still somewhat of a mystery. Historians speculate that Napoleon's troops probably brought marijuana to Europe in 1804 following his military exploits in Egypt and the Mediterranean. Then European immigrants brought it with them to the New World. Marijuana is thought to have been brought to Latin America by the Spanish conquistadors in the 15 and 1600s. Mexican migrant workers were believed to have brought marijuana across the Mexico-U.S. border in the early 1900s. During the Prohibition, speakeasies allowed for the mixing of cultures and allowed people who were already partaking in illicit activities to share vices such as marijuana with one another. Marijuana use spiked during the Prohibition and dramatically decreased after alcohol became legal again. Harry J. Anslinger was the commissioner of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics from 1930 to 1962. He helped pass the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, in part due to a strong propaganda campaign. Some sample propaganda ads are down here. According to the History Channel documentary, Hooked, Illegal Drugs and How They Got That Way, the law requires that anyone wishing to buy, sell, distribute, or transfer marijuana must pay a tax and have a stamp. However, the government does not make any stamps available. The other problem with the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937 was that in order to get a license, you had to have the marijuana in hand. But if you had the marijuana in hand without the license, you were already in violation of the law. Now that we know how marijuana became illegal, we can dispel the negative stereotypes associated with it. The main arguments for keeping marijuana illegal are that marijuana is a gateway drug and the Mexican cartel involvement with the black market drug trade. Marijuana, by definition, cannot be a gateway drug. According to the United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration Office of Diversion Control, marijuana is classified as a Schedule I controlled substance. A Schedule I controlled substance means that the drug has no evidence of any medical use in the United States, lack of accepted safety for use under medical supervision, and the high potential for abuse. Many of the drugs marijuana is supposed to be a gateway to, however, are considered less dangerous by the same schedule rating system. Cocaine, methamphetamine, and Oxycontin are only considered Schedule II controlled substances. Valium and Xanax are only considered Schedule IV controlled substances. By legalizing and regulating marijuana, people can have a safe and legal option to purchase their marijuana versus from the cartels. The Mexican cartels make the most amount of money off of the marijuana trade, and losing this aspect of their business would be devastating to their hold in America. Now that we've discussed why some people believe the drug should be kept illegal, we will learn about the many positive aspects of legalizing marijuana. There are many positive aspects to the legalization of marijuana, including the economic growth and possibilities, medicinal uses, and potential tax revenue. Some examples of the market potential are shown here. According to drugpolicy.org, legalizing and regulating marijuana will bring the nation's largest cash crop under the rule of law, creating jobs and economic opportunities in the formal economy instead of in the illicit market. Scarce law enforcement resources that can be better used to protect public safety while reducing corrections and court costs. State and local governments would acquire significant new sources of tax revenue from regulating marijuana sales. According to normal.org, marijuana is far less dangerous than alcohol or tobacco. Around 50,000 people die each year from alcohol poisoning. Similarly, 400,000 deaths each year are attributed to tobacco smoking. By comparison, marijuana is non-toxic and cannot cause death by overdose. Marijuana has several medical applications, including alleviating the side effects due to chemotherapy. Marijuana has also been shown to help patients deal with AIDS, cancer, glaucoma, and anxiety. The legalization of marijuana would remove an extreme burden to our criminal justice system. According to the Office of National Drug Control Policy, marijuana possession arrests under current laws in 2008 totaled 750,000. About $63 billion of taxpayer money is spent every year on incarcerated inmates. The fewer inmates we incarcerate each year, the more money we save as a country. Marijuana should be legalized in the United States because of its legitimate uses, such as hemp and paper clothing. The substance has also been shown to help with medical conditions like cancer and glaucoma. The legislation in America needs to be changed in order for marijuana to be decriminalized and legalized. Allowing marijuana to be legal would enable America to see a dramatic increase in tax revenue due to the regulation of the marijuana market. It would also allow for police to be free to pursue more serious crimes without the burden of marijuana criminals on the criminal justice system. Finally, legalizing marijuana would greatly reduce the Mexican cartel presence in America, thus making many urban cities a safer place to live.